Hello everyone, my name is Max and welcome to part 2 of the Snapdown study. I'd highly encourage you to watch the previous video where I discuss snapping mechanics in various forms, along with correct shooting mechanics and the dilemma you can play between the two. If you haven't already, please subscribe and ring the notification bell, as these videos take a very long time to make. And if you don't want to miss the next one, this is the best way to do it. Finally, if you get to the end of the video and you found that you quite liked it, please hit the like button. I do read the comments as well, and I try and be active in responding to as many as I can, so if you've got any video ideas or you've got any feedback, I'd love to hear it. Thank you. We're going to start with 3 upper body snaps in section 1, the first being wrist snaps into upper body grips. The first clip we will look at is from Nicky Ryan against Canuto from ADCC. He's going to hit a wrist snap into an underhook. Now, he purposely throws his head off to the side. You'll be told at a fundamental level in wrestling this is incorrect, and you may also hear that you always have to keep your head in the collarbone at all times. However, you'll find high-level coaches saying the opposite, or see high-level athletes from across jiu-jitsu and wrestling having success with it, and they can't all be the exception to the rule. Now, this isn't just a random moment in a match, this was intentional. You can even see Nicky teaching it here. I've also got a clip of John Danaher teaching it in his standing instructional, where he specifically states to do this.
And we take their head and give them what most people like, which is inside head position like so.
The question becomes, why do this? Are they all really bad at wrestling? And the obvious answer is, no, of course not. Without actually making a video of me demoing it myself, one of the best examples I've got of it being done is in a Greco-Roman wrestling match. Now, when you get this underhook position where you throw your head away, it allows you to put your hips very close to your partner. And as your hips get very close to your partner, it makes it easier to kill their whizzer. If your head is in the collarbone, it will create distance between your two bodies, which means they'll be able to bear weight down through the whizzer into your arm, which is outstretched. Going back to Nicky now, from this head-to-head position, Nicky's going to hit a wrist snap where he's actually pulling his partner's arm too far as he rushes towards him. As he's going towards him, he's going to get that hip-to-hip position, which makes the underhook throw-by much easier. And his hand's going to transfer to the waist, and then he's going to look to go towards his partner's back. Now, he failed in getting towards the back, but this was definitely his best attack throughout the match. I've got one more example of this happening from a different angle, and it's actually from one of my matches at Grappling Industries. So I'm going to hit the same wrist snap where I pull my partner's elbow and I dip my shoulder, and I'm able to find the underhook throw-by where I get behind my partner. The common theme with the wrist snaps we've just looked at is if you're able to create extension through your partner's arm, you can overextend them and get underneath them through various different means. You'll have to excuse the quality for this next clip, but this is actually what it looks like from the match on Flow Grappling. What we're going to look at is a wrist snap into an arm drag. Now, most of you are going to have seen this technique before, but it's still important to highlight the fact he's using a wrist snap to get towards upper body controls. Again, once you can create extension in the arm, it makes it easier to strip the grip and begin working to attack your partner with the opportunities presented afterwards. Same technique again, however this time it results in a knee tap where his partner's legs literally come off the floor. For the second variation of upper body snap, we're going to look at a double forearm snap. Now this is a wrist snap down, okay? So he's not actually doing a wrist snap, because what I'm going to show here is the fact that he's able to bring the hands to the mat. This works because his opponent's committing to the double collar tie. And when they commit to the double collar tie, when you put your arms in the crook of their elbow pit, it creates a strong bend in their arm. So when you go to do your square snap footwork from the first video, you have a strong perch on your partner's arms, and now it's about bowing your head to get the hands down towards the mat. So to reinforce, this is not a conventional wrist snap where you typically strip the grips or go into underhooks and so on. This is a wrist snap down where we're looking to bring our partners hands to the mat, create front headlock situations and so on. Finishing up in section 1, we're going to look at a wrist snap into a shot and a wrist snap feint into a shot. Wrist snaps are excellent for finding a way to get into a shot because you essentially kill your partner's frame / connection to you, and once this is done, you'll have less obstacles to deal with and you'll be able to get in on your partner's legs and put them down. Now, for shot mechanics, be sure to revisit the first video where I go over the split step and shots in detail. For the wrist snap feint, it can be something as simple as just touching your partner's hand. By tapping your partner's hand, you can cause them to essentially fix it in place for just a moment, and if you time this moment as you're shooting, you'll be able to get in some deep shots. In section 2, we're going to look at front headlock short offense, and we'll start with front headlock shots. Now, front headlock shots are an excellent choice because you're already very close to your partner and you've already beat their frames, so you simply need to pick up your partner's leg and then you're effectively in a shot, as opposed to the technical nuances of shooting from a distance. I won't be covering every aspect of short offense in this video, but I'll still be covering what I find to be very interesting and what I want to highlight to you guys. Here we're going to see Nicky defend a shot into a front headlock, and from there it doesn't take much for him to simply scoop his partner's leg into a single leg, and from here put his partner down. What's also cool about this single leg finish is he hikes the knee up to his chest, which brings his partner's head closer, which makes this club finish easier as opposed to if you had your chest forward in a classic like running the pipe situation. Onto a very neglected skill in the sport of jiu-jitsu, and that's reshots. Reshots typically happen either from your partner's failed shot or your own failed shot. This is as either person's head rises back up to try and build back to standing. There's an opportunity to shoot in on your partner as the heads are no longer matched in level. So we'll start with Nicky Rod at the most recent ADCC, where his partner shoots in on him, and as his head comes back up, he times it and he's able to get in on his own shot and put his partner down to the ground. Same thing again, but this time off his opponent's failed ankle pick. And what's interesting about this one is as he almost falls into his partner and he starts going for his catch, he starts climbing towards the back, and then he's able to do a misdirect and convert it back into essentially a knee tap finish, which is very cool to see. Let's take a look at what I think is an underutilized technique that's extremely effective from the front headlock at putting your partner down to the mat whilst keeping the grip, and that's the ukewaza. It's very low effort for how effective it is at bringing your partner's hands or just body back down to the mat. Now, you've just got to make sure you have the right angle for when you go for this foot block. It opens up a lot of good follow-up options, such as basic go-behinds. If the hands go to the mat, you can look to attack the neck, or as Ryan did against Kean Cornelius, look to go into a mounted arm and guillotine. We'll finish section 2 with some front headlock finishes, and specifically my favourite one, which is the high wrist arm and guillotine. Now, the reason I've chosen this one in particular is its ability to follow your partner through resistance, but also its ability to finish on what is seemingly known as the weak side of guillotines. Now, you can do this with high elbow guillotines, however, your ability to control your partner is limited compared to this one, where you have control over one of their shoulders as well. The first clip is from Jozef Chen at Trials, where he's essentially threatening a go-behind by trying to pinch his knee against his partner's elbow, and now the defense for this go-behind is to open up your elbow to get an underhook, which leaves space between the ear and the shoulder, which allows him to slip his wrist in. Now, as his partner goes into defensive rolls, he's going to hook his partner's leg and purposely fall to what is seemingly the weak side, but he's still able to finish the guillotine because he has pressure across both sides of his partner's neck. Going further now with this idea of trying to create separation between the ear and the shoulder. Now, you have to forgive, this is hard to see, but I'll try and highlight it as best as I can. Gordon's in an arm in guillotine situation. Now, he's going to use his hand to push his partner's shoulder so that he can slip his hand through, and you can just see his pinky fingers, and he's entered a high wrist arm in guillotine, okay? And what he's doing is he's pushing the shoulder to essentially do a centerline shift and then go into his finishes from here, which is much easier to finish in this position than a conventional arm in guillotine. We'll finish up with another example of one of those guillotine finishes where I finish my partner on what is seemingly the weak side or the weak hip. Okay, so I'm going to do a little snap down here just to get my partner's head below mine. And now from here, I'm going to be doing a centerline shift, but I'm juddering my body to the side so I can punch my hand through. Now, as my partner starts making his way around me, I'm able to follow him, and as I come on top, his body will be on the wrong side. However, I still have sufficient pressure because I've got double closure around his neck, which is where you're constricting the whole neck, and I'm able to get a finish. So that concludes the 2-part Snapdown series, and I just want to say thank you for watching the video, and if you enjoyed it, be sure to like, subscribe. My next video is going to be on inside camping. I've put a lot of work into that video, and I've got a few surprises in it as well, which I think you guys will enjoy, so stay tuned for that, and have a wonderful day as always.